True indeed with you, Holy Circle Gaming. Thank you for rocking with your boy like always. Definitely a privilege and an honor to do as such. Doing something a little bit different on this go round. What we're working with here is Marvel Puzzle Quest. Yeah, a little bit different than what I've been working on. Y'all saw me do a little bit on the Gems of War series, and y'all know that's been going very, very well thus far. But what I wanted to do is kind of give y'all differences between what you see with Gems of War versus what you see with Marvel Puzzle Quest, because even though that they're two puzzle games, they're actually two different puzzle games, uniquely different, and a lot of differences between them. So let me kind of break down what you're seeing here. You actually have variations on which you could go about the gameplay. You have the prologue, in which is going to basically bang you down a story mode. So with the story mode for Marvel Puzzle Quest, it is very extensive. Now, when I talk about extensive, there's branching points which tells different aspects of the story. That's why you see the little dots here. And it gives you different branching points as you see for each section of the story. In addition to, when you do particular aspects of the story, you can actually do the storyline over and over again, in which it will actually give us some replay value. So let me go back and actually show you one that would actually have that. So you can go back to one like you see here and actually replay it, and it will actually be able to gain you additional items for replaying the game. Now, I do like it for the fact that it actually gives you something to play for. The only thing about certain gameplay when it goes backwards and have you do the same thing over and over and over again is kind of like a lazy way to portray longevity. But at least if they're going to make you go back and do it, at least they make you go back and do it for a particular reason and a purpose that will actually help you build your characters. Now, with your character builds, the one thing that you're looking at here is that you get actual Marvel characters that you're able to obtain. Now, as you well see, this is kind of my base lineup as I went with. Now, the base 3, I have this on my mobile version, and having it in this I'm playing on the PC version. And my mobile version is a little bit more advanced than my PC version is at this current point in time. But the one thing that's been very consistent is that Iron Man's been consistent, Spider-Man's been consistent, and Storm has been consistent. Those 3 has been consistent pretty much down the board, and the Black Widow's been consistent too. Those 4 has been fairly consistent. Now, in my mobile setup, I actually have every single one of these cards, but I actually have them in different variations. Like each special you get is going to be different, and the way that you get your upgrades for your characters is a couple of ways. One, you get your upgrades by actually pulling for additional comic book covers that actually will have a special ability attached to it. Like in this instance, I have pulled 2 more repulsor blasts and 1 more armored assault in a pull. And so with that pull, that's why I was able to get these upgrades. And then in addition to, I could actually upgrade my character, which in this case would be the Iron Man, so he could get additional abilities. Now, those abilities work to be a couple of ways. One, the abilities allow him to get better health points, and it also allows him to get better power points as well. So when he utilizes his power attacks, they actually do a little bit more damage as they go along. So that's why the crystals or the ISO 8s are extremely important to kind of manage the right way. Now, you'll see it in other characters where, let me see if I have my Spider-Man right now, where you have the all tied up and these, and so you see certain characters where it has 1 of 13 power points, because I haven't done any type of leveling to them whatsoever. Even though the abilities are good, you got to be able to level them up to maximize so they can get the maximum ability. So then you can also go for additional roster space, which is very important too, because you're going to need that roster space as you go down the line if you want to get additional cards without having to sell off certain cards. And those are actually by these little coins right here. Now, I so happen to have 200 coins. I will be utilizing those coins at some point soon. You can And you're not required to, but you can purchase your way up to get certain items that you need. So if you need additional ISO 8, you could definitely purchase it. If you need additional coins, you could definitely purchase it. But I'm not one of those ones who's going to actually pay additional for a game that's in essence free, and a game that you can actually work toward getting the better roster and the better pieces. I will play through and work my way through every single bit of the game. Now that's where Marvel Puzzle Quest is different to a degree than Gems of War. Now with Gems of War, you have a basic premise. You have a team of 4, and you have 4 different cards with different varying abilities, but they all have one ability. Now you notice with the roster here, you notice characters have 1, maybe 2 abilities. Like I'll go back to Iron Man, they each typically will have either 2 or 3 abilities that you could use. And the other thing about the ability is that the abilities don't utilize until the abilities utilize, but it doesn't take away a turn. So you get a chance to use your ability and get a turn off. So that actually gives you better strategic gameplay too. But there's a lot of things that you have to concern yourself with when it comes to this game. So actually it's a lot more thinking to this particular game than to Gems of War. Now if you were telling me, what type of puzzle game should I get into? I kind of like match 3 games. I like Candy Crush because of the style that it is. This takes a little bit of the Candy Crush feel because there is levels and there's levels that you could go through with it to kind of upgrade your characters and stuff, and but it's not completely locked in to where it says that if you don't pass this particular level, you can't advance. You could always digress, go backwards, play some of the older levels, build up your character so you have enough strength to beat the character. So it actually gives you a real legit chance of beating the game. Probably a lot easier than it would be on Candy Crush or Farm Hero Saga or games of that magnitude. That's the reason why I like Gems of War, the reason why I like Marvel Puzzle Quest. They're both very good in that regard. And as with Marvel Puzzle Quest, they have a pretty decent storyline, good writing to it as well. Since Marvel have their hands on it, obviously, Marvel's going to actually invest a little bit of time in making sure that the story sticks, probably a little bit better than what they did with Gems of War, but they're both really good. So don't make it seem like Gems of War is bad by any stretch. It's just different than what you're looking at here with Marvel Puzzle Quest. So one thing you notice in gameplay, when you make matches of 4, it wipes out rows. Anytime you make matches, it builds up your gem count. And the one thing I really like it, and I like it on the PC version even more so than the mobile version, is that you can see exactly what's needed really easily in order to make sure your plays stick, to make sure you get your specials up and running. And you can also see what your opponents need too, and kind of counteract what they're trying to develop as well. So there's a lot of things, you get a lot of information in front of you. The other thing that you get a chance to do is actually you get a chance to rotate characters as well. So if you want to hit a particular character first, you can. So I'm gonna actually go ahead and continue to bang away and try to tag this bomb tech out the way, but you could actually rotate characters around, and that's gonna be important as you go down the line in the gameplay, where you're going to need to learn how to rotate your characters and take out the right character out first, because if you don't, the battles could be a lot longer, your characters will take a lot more damage early, and it could potentially be a majorly problem if you don't go about it the right way. So those are things that you learn as you go along in the gameplay. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to try to make a couple of matches here to get this bomb tech out of the way. I think this would be able to give me 21. And let me see. I don't have any black ones to go with, so I think I have to go with the yellow currently. Okay, I'm going to take the bomb tech down, which is good. Demolition is up next, which took additional damage, which is actually good. I'm going to go ahead. I can use a special here, and I can use 2 different specials. I'm actually going to use the Armor Assault first. Defensive purposes on that one to use the Armor Assault, and what it did, it actually put specials on the board, so I could actually defend myself if necessary. And I could also go offensive and use, I can use either take, I can use Take Aim. Take Aim is a good one too, so watch, I'm going to use Take Aim. I'm going to put it in a critical spot. I believe I can use it in a good spot. Yeah, I'm gonna put it right here. So take aim actually allows me to put a critical. So this is gonna turn into a critical gem. A critical gem does double damage in most cases, depends on the character. Does an additional 72 in this particular instance, which was really good placement, by the way. And what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna actually swing around, hit green. The demolitionist only has 20 left, and I see all this action here. Now, one thing you also got to pay attention to. See these little counters right here? These little counters, what they tend to do is count down, and if you don't take away those gems in a timely fashion before that countdown, those countdowns go away, they will actually do damage. That's the way that they get their specials off. Certain characters will actually battle against you and flip gems while you're flipping gems. Other ones will actually use these little countdown tiles in order to get their attacks off. And that's very important too. So you got to be very aware of what's going on the board, and that's super important because a lot of games don't make you be aware of the board. You just got to make the gems and get your specials off. This one you got to be very aware of what's going on the board, what's going on with the specials on the side, and how to best utilize. I'm gonna use my special, my repulsor blast. Knock 165 off top, so I can slow this up really fast. I hit the green there, and I'm gonna take the blue here, and we should be good to go. So that's fairly easy. So that's kind of the basis of the game there. As you go against harder characters, you got to go against their abilities, and you got to be very aware of how they particularly maneuver. Hopefully I get some ISO 8. Nah, no ISO 8. So no ISO 8 there. I got 1700 on the ISO 8. So what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna train. I'm gonna boost up. I think I'm gonna boost up Iron Man in this particular instance. I'm gonna utilize 240. So I'm gonna boost up on Iron Man. So he's at level 9 right now, which is not bad. Definitely does decent damage. This tells you the type of damage he does per gem. The better you upgrade the character, the stronger the gem counts work for your favor. We'll run one more here. So it's actually pretty good on this front where you can actually run different sets and different builds. And I can actually twist up the character. I meant to flip the characters around. It's okay. You can actually make your own team of characters because certain character combinations work better than others. So you got to be aware of those things too. So sometimes you want to run certain sets. And as you go along, you actually have to really think about which sets that you want to use to best utilize who you're going against. Because sometimes you could have some good cards, but in the wrong sets, it doesn't work out the right way. So you got to be very aware of the sets. Now that bomb tech is down pretty quick. Very good. So what I'm going to use this Johnny Storm Inferno. This Inferno one is actually a pretty cool one. I just got this card. And what it does, as long as these fists are in play, they actually do damage. 12 damage per square. So it's actually going to do a total of 60. Which is extremely high on the attack count. In addition to all the other attacks that it's able to get. So that's an additional 60 off top, which is very strong, by the way. I'm going to go and take away their attack there. Another additional 60. So it actually is able to knock away a lot of the characters really fast. So as you level up that particular card, I think that card could be very strong down the line, to be honest with you. Another 60 there. See the counters working right now. I'm not too concerned about it. I think I'll be able to get these, get them out of the way before the counters go away. Then I'm going to do a green, and I should be able to take them out. And there it is. See how fast that works? Certain cards work better. Like that Johnny Storm early on has been paying dividends because it's a level 15 character for one. And you can level it up to level 94 once you get all the cards. But more importantly, the ability that's attached to it is very good too. Now, real quick, before I sign off on this particular session, I definitely want to give you a little bit about my take versus this one versus Gems of War in particular. In addition to the prologue, as you saw here, there's story modes, but their story mode is different. You actually do a story mode here in order to participate in certain pulls that you get later on down the line. So let me go to the recruit heroes. So right here is where you get your cards to build up your characters or get new cards. So you could spend 500 ISO 8s to go ahead and get like a level 1, a level 2, or a level 3 card. You can also get heroic, which starts off at a level 2, then a 3, then a 4, which is actually good too, but that actually takes coins. So it tells you kind of the value between crystals versus coins, but the crystals are equally as important because they actually help you build your character, so you don't want to waste those if possible. Legendary, when you're linked up to an alliance, then with the alliance you're able to get command points, and with the command points that allows you to get the legendaries that is necessary. So that's very important too. Then they have a couple of special events. You'll see one that's the Red Shift that's featuring Scarlet Witch. Shout out to Scarlet Witch fans. They also have a secondary one which features Wolverine and Storm, which is actually very good too, and that's part of the hunt. It's 4 days left on that one, as you can well see. And then you have another one featuring the Punisher, which is the Army of One. And then you have these as well. Now, the enemy estate is part of the story mode. As you advance along in the story mode, they give you additional coins and stuff that you can actually try to pull to get one of these. Now, this is fairly cool too, because you can actually see that you could get anything from a basic level 2. Let me slide it all the way across. From a basic level 2 all the way up to a level 4. Or you could get a pull for level 4. So there's a lot of things that you could get in there, like these little rare character Iron Fist. You could get super lucky and get the Jean Grey, starting off at level 70. You know, you could get super lucky in some of these pools. So what it behooves you to do is, you know, really kind of focus your efforts one way to another, maybe on the story mode. That's where the hunt is featured. The Deadpool one is actually in action right now, but my team is not strong enough to deal with Deadpool. Then you see all the other season events that's going on. That's the Red Shift, that's the Army of One, that's the Shield events, of course. So there's a lot of things cracking as far as like ways to play the game. But the one thing that you'll see is that when your character takes damage, you actually have to heal them, or you have to sit there and you either have to heal them or you have to wait until they are fully healed, which takes time. That could take 30 minutes, that could take an hour, it could take an hour and a half. They won't take super long, but that means your character's not available for a long period of time, which puts a premium on making sure you have a pretty extensive roster to play longer. So that's really what it comes down to for me. So it's actually very good in that regard. Whereas with Gems of War, the one thing that's really good about Gems of War, you can play it over and over and over again. Your cards ain't gonna take damage. You don't have to wait as long. But with this game, the strategy within the game makes you think a lot more, and that's the reason why I kind of lean towards the Marvel Puzzle Quest versus the Gems of War in particular, simply because the strategy that's involved. Now, you know, am I saying Gems of War is bad? No, I think Gems of War is a fantastic game, and I think this team that does Gems of War does a fantastic job. But I'll also say that, you know, the team that does this game too is very good as well, because what they did in both events is actually expanded on the Candy Crush theory and gave you much better gameplay. There's a lot of people who play Farm Hero Sagas, there's a lot of people who play Candy Crush, and I think even though take away the Marvel or whatever they, you know, however you skin it, if you put together just the literal strategy behind it, I think a lot of more people will play the game. I think a lot of people are afraid of it simply because it's a tough game and it really takes some know-how in order to play the game. But I think what it comes down to is that once you kind of learn the game and learn the strategies and stuff, I think a lot of people would really, really, really like the game. What I'm going to do, because I don't think I actually had a chance to run my 3, I'm going to actually take off Hawkeye. I'm going to move Hawkeye here. I like Johnny Storm. I like that. Actually, no, I like Hawkeye now. Hawkeye's going to actually work out pretty well for me currently, simply because it does a few things well. But I'm going to actually I run Black Widow. You know, I run Black Widow in this instance, even though it's a level 1 Black Widow. I run the Black Widow currently. I'll still run with Johnny Storm, Iron Man, and then I'll go Black Widow in this instance. Black Widow is actually a very good character to kind of rock with too, especially as you upgrade Black Widow. Black Widow, because of the way it could like slow up slow up guy, it could really run a ruck shop. I really like the Black Widow card once it's cooking. It's got me out of a lot of troubles and allowed me to win a lot of matches on my mobile version of the game. I could rock with that. If I had this version of Human Torch with Black Widow and Iron Man, I would have a pretty solid team to like start off with. Because like I said, my starting squad now, I like my starting squad now than what I did on my mobile. My mobile, I had to do a lot of work, but I think part of that was not knowing all the game mechanics and stuff and kind of learning. And, you know, in the process of learning is probably why I'm playing this better now. I'm actually thinking better on strategies and everything. And that's the way that I'm getting better at it. And you know, real quick, man, shout out to my boy Boom Boom Shot Put, representing Holy Circle Gaming, of course. Shout out to him. He's the one who actually put me on to actually starting to play this game, because he knew I played Gems of War. He's one of the people who was like, hey Cam, why don't you try this game out? I used to play this game back in the day. I actually did a lot of good things on it. Why don't you start cracking on this Marvel Puzzle Quest? And I was like, maybe not. Then I was like, okay, I'll give it some run just because he's giving it some run. And I'll do that. I'll try out certain games on the strength of what my team is telling me. If my team's telling me, hey, maybe rock with this game because it's pretty official, I'm not going to like downplay it. And so I did, and I actually wound up liking the game an awful lot. I think the game is well put together. I think the game is very fun, and shout out to him for putting me onto this game, because if he didn't, I probably wouldn't be doing this currently right now. See this countdown gem? Now, I could let it hit me, but I don't want to really take damage. But it's going to benefit me. It's going to actually create a 5 and actually give me a critical tile, as y'all well see, which does additional damage, which knocked him down to 166. And I actually have the repulsor shot. I can actually get him out of the way right now. This shot right here should be able to get him out the way. And it does. Yes, there it is. And so it does, and so that's the reason why, you know, I kind of like the game in general. I like the game because there's a lot of things to think about. It could be easy, it could be hard. As you progress along, I think it becomes very challenging as you progress along. You do got to have the right cards in tow, and once you start taking damage, I think that's you'll have to really think your way through and really develop a character roster. I just think I kind of like this roster better than what I have on my other roster. So that's the other thing I kind of keep into consideration. The roster I have now, especially that the Johnny Storm and the Iron Man, the way that they're built, I built them a lot better. But I like on my other squad, I like my Black Widow. My Black Widow, modern version of the Black Widow, oh, so official. I really like that card too. It's gotten me out of a lot of trouble, especially playing in the P versus P. So what you're gonna see here, going forward, from myself, I'm gonna actually be running this on cam. So you're gonna see a lot of the progression on cam. You'll see a lot of the P versus P gameplay. What I'm gonna do is actually do a lot of the single player campaign off cam, even though I've been showing you a lot of single player right now. But I'm gonna show you a lot of the P versus P. Once I get the roster upgraded a little bit, you'll see the P versus P. I'm going to show you some of that, show you some of the pulls as I go along. I will do the pulls on cam going forward if I have any pulls, unless there's something that's card oriented that's automatically boosted up. I won't be able to show you that, but I'll show you any type of like recruitment deck pulls, things of that magnitude. I'll show you some of the P versus P, and then go from there, and we'll see as we go along. So that's going to be this particular series. This is going to be the Marvel Puzzle Quest series that I'll be working on. I actually got some other things I'm spinning on right now for the PS4. So, hey, and y'all saw me take a couple of weeks off. I do apologize. I had some things that I had to situate. Now that I got them situated, we're back in motion. We're back in the flow. We're going to actually get a lot of stuff on the YouTube page. So definitely check out the YouTube page. Check out the Twitch page as well. So I'm actually doing some things live pretty shortly. Starting next week, likely Monday or Tuesday, we're going to be actually getting some live footage up for the Twitch page and gets back in motion doing that. So I'm going to actually run a couple of different games, and I'm going to be working with some classics for you. I'm going to rock some classics for you, so we'll see. And even though I'm rocking classics for you now, this is how we get down. I like running some of the classic games so you get a fresh take and a fresh look at it. So hopefully you like it as we go along. So definitely appreciate you rocking with your boy. My name is Mr. True Indeed. You know who I represent, Holy Circle Gaming, and you know how we do above always. God above everything. Till the next time, y'all. Salute.